Welcome to Learn About Astronomy, and today we're going to talk about one of the really cool constellations for the month of January. And this is Orion the Hunter. Orion is the king of all the constellations, the winter constellations. Personally find that it's the most beautiful constellation in the night sky. And so it's really nice to watch it in the evening. It's in my case it's always probably what means winter. Actually, I've watched it rise very late and in the evening, or rather more like early morning, around 1 or 2 a.m. somewhere in early November. And the first thing that comes to mind when I see Orion is that it means winter, it means cold weather. I've always associated Orion with the winter times, actually. And of course in North America we are in the coldest time of the year when we watch Orion. Orion is one of those constellations that is extremely nice. Very easy to spot thanks to its 3 stars that make a little line, a straight line, or almost. It's not exactly a straight line, but it's almost there. It's Orion's belt. And this is the easiest thing to spot. It can be easily seen in very bright skies thanks to its very bright stars. Orion not only is a nice big constellation, but it has many bright stars. So it's pretty cool for that. And actually, Orion has one of the most famous stars probably in the night sky, next to Polaris probably. And it's thanks to a movie that was called Betelgeuse. If you've watched Betelgeuse, well, Betelgeuse, the name for that character comes from Orion. There's a very bright orange tint star in Orion in its upper left. And that star, if we look at it closely here, is Betelgeuse. And so Betelgeuse comes from that star. So that's something you can tell anyone that's watched the movie, or if your children saw the movie, say, hey, that's Betelgeuse. And which is, you can pretty much, say that it's, pronounce it like that, Betelgeuse. In French we say Betelgeuse. And so that's a very bright star there in Orion. And to the opposite of that upper left side, the lower right side is another very bright star here. And that star, it's called Rigel, R-I-G-E-L. Rigel is also a very bright star in the night sky. So if we look at Rigel at 0.28 magnitude here, so it's a very nice star here, and this is its information. It's one of the very bright stars in the night sky, some of the brightest, so that's an interesting fact to know. What's nice about Orion, through a telescope, it is very rich in all sorts of little details. Basically, the lower part of Orion, just below the belt, we have one of the richest star birth places in our galaxy. It's actually a little gas cloud where bright, new, young stars are forming all of the time. And through a telescope, you can actually see that little gas cloud type nebulosity. And if you're in dark sky, actually, you can look at Orion with your eyes, and you will probably notice there's kind of a faint smudge below the belt, and it's easy to see in a night sky with unaided eyes. So just by looking, you will see like a faint smudge. It's kind of easy to spot that there's a faint smudge there. Through binoculars and telescope, of course, it's even better. It's one of the easiest constellations to recognize. So even if you live somewhere where you kind of have difficulty to recognize any constellation, well, this one is really easy to spot, to recognize, and to know what it is. So you can't miss it. And it's very high. This is, the view you have here is for 9 p.m. on January 20th. But it's basically visible all through January, and it's going to be quite high in the south sky. At 9 p.m. if you look south, very high, what you'll notice is that there will be Orion right there in the smack in the sky. Very nice constellation to look at. The distinctive pattern of Orion has been recognized in numerous cultures around the world. Many myths have been associated with it, and basically some of the most ancient times where there's a talk of Orion or a mention of this constellation goes to the ancient Egyptians, actually, that have actually made drawings in their pyramids. So that's 2,000-3,000 years before our era, actually. We have our North American Indians that actually also talked and made pictograms and drawings of Orion many hundreds of years ago. So this is probably the fact that it's one of the easiest constellations to spot, actually. It's really nice. You can use Orion to actually spot other stars. Usually, if you look at the belt of Orion, if you go on the right side of the belt, it points to Taurus, which is the Aldebaran star, which is the main orange, very bright star of Taurus. So take a look in the evening sky, look at Orion, and go follow, not in a straight line because it's a little higher, but follow to your right the imaginary line of the belt, and you'll see a very bright orange star, which is the star Aldebaran in Taurus. So that's one way. And if you take the same belt and actually go to the left side of Orion, then you will find Sirius in Canis Major, which is the dog. Sirius, what is Sirius? It's the brightest star in our sky. Sirius is the brightest star after the moon, the sun, and Venus. Sirius is a really, really bright star. Maybe there's Jupiter that will beat it, but apart from that, Sirius comes in like fifth of the most brightest objects in our night sky. Very easy to see. So why not take time to watch the sky, find Orion, and why not take a look at the belt and look on the right side of the belt a little higher. You'll see Aldebaran, which is the brightest star in Taurus. And on the left side, you'll see a little lower Sirius, which is the brightest star in our sky. So this is a way to actually go around slowly and try to find different stars. If you're looking for the way to Castor and Pollux, which are the two brightest stars of Gemini, one other little trick that you can use is to use the two brightest stars which are in Orion, so the lower right and the upper left, and make once again an imaginary line to the upper left of your sky, and you'll find Gemini. And actually at this time of year, at this point right now, today, this year only, it's pointing even towards Jupiter. So that's another way to find Jupiter in the night sky. So it's a very rich, very cool constellation, which is really, really nice to watch in your night sky. The average distance of the stars in Orion are anywhere from about 600 to 1,000 light years away. Betelgeuse, which is the orange upper left star of the constellation, is 643 light years from here. So it means that as you're watching the light of that star in one evening here in January, the light left the surface of that star 643 years ago. Think about it. It's kind of going back in time, actually. And the bottom right, the Rigel star, is 772 light years from us, which means that they are pretty much, it's a little older again. So when you're watching that star on the bottom right of Orion, think that the light left its surface 772 years ago. Really amazing when you think about it. So that's pretty much the tour of Orion and how to use it to find other stars. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll take time, bring out your smartphone or that little tablet, and why not look at the video while you're actually watching the sky and try to find your way around the stars. It's one of the cool ways, and you know what? If you do this every day, you will actually get acquainted with your sky and be able to recognize the different stars easily without having even to look at a sky map. So January is really a cool time for Orion. Why not take a look at this really beautiful constellation, one of the most beautiful in the night sky actually for January. It's basically a very interesting constellation that is winter time here in the northern hemisphere, and will be pretty much high in the sky up until March, when it's going to get lower and lower to the west, and as the spring arrives, Orion will set earlier and earlier every night. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe to our channel. You'll be informed when new videos are online. If you have any comments, questions on what you've seen, hey, let us know. And maybe you have suggestions, well, let us know. We'll try to see what we can do to improve this video podcast. And hopefully you'll come back to learn about astronomy. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.